Hey guys, it's Chris. From some of the most valuable treasure hoards ever found to expensive rocks big enough to crush an elephant and make you rich, here are the most expensive discoveries and gemstones ever found. Number 10. Giant chunk of quartz. First on the list for today is a giant piece of quartz that was found in Arkansas back in 2016. The piece of quartz was found inside of the Ron Coleman Mine in Jessieville. And at the time of its discovery, it was estimated to be worth about $3.5 million. It's a full 8-foot chunk of crystal that weighs at least 2,000 pounds. It took 4 days to fully excavate the piece of quartz, which was found beneath an enormous 170-mile vein of quartz which runs through Arkansas. Finding quartz is not surprising for the area, but it's the size of the stone that's so impressive. Plus, its ridiculous value. It's one of the most impressive crystal clusters that has ever come out of the quarry. And people have been digging there since before World War II. Quartz crystals were originally mined in the area for use in radios, but the stuff can still be worth a fortune. The reason this piece of quartz is worth so much money is because all the crystals are in perfect condition. If the crystals had been muddy or broken, it would just be a great big rock. But all the crystals on this stone are clear and totally undamaged, making it ridiculously valuable. Number 9. The Hawkson Horde. The Hawkson Horde is often considered one of the largest Roman treasures ever found in Britain. It is in fact the second biggest treasure from the late Roman period of gold and silver ever discovered in the United Kingdom, or anywhere else in the old Roman world for that matter. This hoard contained upon its discovery over 15,000 objects, and most of them were extremely valuable coins. This hoard also includes jewelry, tableware, and lots of other trinkets, many of which can be seen today at the British Museum in London. The hoard is definitely impressive, but the way it was discovered is even more impressive. It was found on November 16, 1992, where a man was helping out a local farmer in the small village of Hawkson. The farmer had lost his hammer in his field, so a man named Eric came with his metal detector to try and help him find it. You can probably guess the rest of the story, though. The metal detector picked up a strong signal, and the two men got to digging. And by the end of the day, they had 2 bags filled with coins and silver spoons. After all the excavations were over, the entire value of everything found was estimated at roughly $4.3 million. However, nobody knows who the hoard initially belonged to. It had been left there probably since around 410 AD. So in the end, Smithsonian Magazine reported that the men who found the trove were paid its entire value by the British government, and he shared the profits with the farmer who had lost his hammer. Number 8. Painite. Painite is one of the strangest gemstones in the world. They're only found in the country of Myanmar, and there have not been very many of them discovered throughout the years. In fact, the first specimen was only discovered in 1957, and then identified as a new kind of gem. And until 2001, only 2 additional painite crystals were found. A few more have been discovered since then, but almost all of them are fractured and incomplete, and a lot of the reports are still unconfirmed. According to the Gem Society, painites are often confused with rubies because of their brilliant red colors. As for those first 2 stones found prior to 2001, well, they're both sitting inside the Natural History Museum of London, but also not being cut or fitted for jewelry. It's been estimated that painite is worth between $50,000 and $60,000 per carat. Number 7. The Panigirichte Treasure. This next treasure isn't discussed a whole lot, probably since it was such a confusing name. The Panigirichte Treasure was found at an old ceramic factory near a small town in Bulgaria back in 1949. According to the Vintage News, the treasure was originally Thracian, which you might remember as being Spartacus's hometown, and it was stumbled upon by 3 local fellas digging clay for bricks. Inside the treasure consisted a hoard of goodies, all of them dating back from the 4th and 3rd centuries BC. The curator from the local museum was quick to identify the treasure discovered as a royal ceremonial set used thousands of years ago by an ancient Thracian king. This treasure was eventually handed over to the proper authorities, and the extremely rare items were stuffed into a vault at the Bulgarian National Bank. However, 3 copies were made, and you can now find them exhibited across the world at different museums. There has been no official value placed on these relics, but it's safe to say that if sold on the black market, they'd be worth quite a lot. Number 6. Giant 910 carat diamond. Back in 2018, one of the largest diamonds ever discovered on the planet was found in the small African country of Lesotho. DW News reported that the diamond was discovered by a UK mining company and could be worth at least, get this, $40 million. That's a lot of money for a single diamond. But it's an absolute beast of a diamond. This thing is 910 carats and thought to be the 5th largest gem diamond in the entire world, and that's not a small feat. In fact, that giant diamond could be worth enough to give every single person in the country of Lestholo a $20 bill. It's not much, but it really speaks to the quality of this gem. If you were wondering about the biggest diamond ever, in 2017, a huge uncut diamond was found in Botswana, and it sold for $53 million. It was believed to be the largest diamond discovered in over a century. Number 5. The Saddle Ridge Hoard. The Saddle Ridge Hoard is in fact the largest buried treasure ever found in the history of the United States. The entire treasure consists of 1,411 gold coins, together worth over $10 million. Perhaps the biggest mystery of this treasure is that to this day, nobody knows who buried the coins. They were discovered in 2013 by a couple walking their dog along the edge of their property, but on this walk, the couple noticed something on the side of the trail that they'd never seen before. It was an old tin can sticking out from the ground. Intrigued, the couple carefully pulled the tin out of the dirt and discovered the find of the century. The coins stuffed in the tin cans, and yes, they did find more than one, were from somewhere around 1847 to 1894, and they were in exceptionally good condition. Experts guessed that the treasure was probably buried in the late 19th century, as most of the coins were $20 gold pieces minted in San Francisco during the gold rush era. But there were also some earlier coins that had been minted in Georgia. The face value of the coins is $28,000, but obviously because of how rare they are, the value is significantly higher. It's unlikely that the couple would be able to sell all the coins all at once, but nonetheless, this is quite a bit of cash to collect over the next few years, assuming there are buyers handy. Number 4. Giant Jade Stone. In Myanmar, miners uncovered one of the largest jade stones on Earth. And it was discovered just a few years ago, and according to a report from the BBC, it was estimated to be worth around $170 million. The stone measured 14 feet high and 19 feet long, and it weighed about 192 tons. That is a seriously impressive rock. If you're unfamiliar with jade, that's because it's mostly a coveted gem in China and parts of Asia, with the entirety of the world's best jade coming from the country of Myanmar, previously known as Burma. The world of jade trading is full of corruption, death, and all kinds of shifty characters. It also counts for almost half of Myanmar's total GDP. In China, jade stones are referred to as stones of heaven. They're worth an absolute fortune, and this enormous stone is probably going to be cut up and turned into all kinds of jewelry and ornaments. Number 3. The Staffordshire Hoard. The Staffordshire Hoard is considered to be the biggest collection of Anglo-Saxon gold and silver ever found in the history of the world. The hoard contains over 4,000 items, and archaeologists claim that it was first buried in the 7th century, at a time when England was part of the Kingdom of Mercia, and it was discovered completely by accident by a guy with a metal detector back in 2009. We're sensing a theme here with the metal detectors, and to this day it's still one of the most important Anglo-Saxon discoveries ever made in the United Kingdom. Most of the objects found in this giant buried hoard include jewelry, brooches, pendants, war gear, sword fittings, and over 1,000 crumbling pieces from a single helmet. It took 18 months for the research project to produce 2 reproductions of that shattered helmet that was buried with the hoard. The big mystery surrounding this treasure is that no one is sure why it got buried. Most of the pieces were bent and warped, suggesting they were likely stripped of their most valuable objects. One of the prevailing theories, though, is that the hoard was collected after a series of battles, with a group of warriors taking the leftovers from the dead as keepsakes or trophies, or even as offerings to their old pagan gods. Number 2. Pink Purple Diamond. One of the rarest diamonds ever found was in Russia, and it's unlike anything you've ever seen before. It's a very rare purple-pink diamond, and it has an estimated worth of $38 million. It's been titled the Spirit of the Rose, after a famous Russian ballet, and it's set to go up for auction sometime in 2020. The diamond is 14.82 carats, and it was cut from the biggest pink crystal ever discovered in Russia. The reason the diamond is so rare is because of its pink color. And get this, some professionals estimate that pink diamonds make up 0.1% of the total diamonds mined globally every year. When these type of diamonds go up for auction, they typically get sold for more than $1 million for every carat. Back in 2017, a pink diamond known as the Pink Star and weighing 59.6 carats sold in Hong Kong for an incredible $71.2 million. Number 1. Giant Pearl. Talk about a lucky find, a fisherman found one of the biggest pearls in the entire world off the coast of Palawan in the Philippines. The pearl has an estimated value of about $100 million, making it insanely valuable. But the funny part of this story is that the fisherman who found the enormous pearl had no idea it was worth so much money. For 10 years, he kept the pearl sitting in his little wooden shack as a good luck charm. It wasn't until a fire at his property in 2016 forced him to clear out all of his stuff that he realized he may be sitting on a gold mine. During the move, the fisherman showed his enormous pearl to a tourism officer, and the tourism officer alerted the man that he had one of the biggest pearls in the world just sitting in his house. But rather than sell the pearl, the guy gave it to the tourism department, and they're planning to use it as a lure to attract more tourists to their region. After all, who wouldn't want to see the biggest natural pearl in the world? Did watching all these incredible discoveries make you drool a little bit? Let me know how you feel about all this treasure in the comments below. And thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe. See you again soon for another great video. What's the most expensive item you've ever touched? And how much was it worth?